Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Boring from the Pattern Journal, and today I wanted to talk about a bit of a design philosophy thing. And the specific area that I want to talk about is the basic sprue design or the kit design from some of the recent GW kits that have come out in like the last 5 years or so. Because there's something that I feel is increasingly becoming a problem, especially as someone who primarily just deals with GW stuff and not with 3D printed stuff. I've tried a few things that way, but it's mostly been, small bits and stuff. But that does highlight some of the issues that I've been having in recent months when I've been building a bunch of different things. Whether it's the new Terminators that have come out, whether it's building the Legionnaires for the Chaos Space Marines. I built some of them like last night, and you know, the Mark 6 Tactical Squad, which came out for her for Cersei 2.0, as part of the launch thing. Big brand new redesign of the armor, giving it to plastic and stuff, and how that all of that relates to the older kit designs, such as the Blood Angels Tactical Squad, which carried forward a legacy from from the very early 2000s. Probably I would say, you know, like probably like third edition 40K, I would say, because I started towards the tail end of fourth, and I think the kit, the Space Marine Tactical Squad, had been had come out like just before fourth edition or with fourth edition, I think. But there are some aspects that have carried on, and Blood Angels Tactical Squad is, I believe, one of the highlights of an open kit design that encourages you not only to just actually build your stuff, but the customizing that comes with having a diverse range like Space Marines, whether we're talking the lawless ones or the chaos ones, or even so many other things here and there. And so to start off with, one of the big things that I want to talk about is, let's start off with the Terminators, right? So the new Terminators, they came out last year with the launch of 10th edition, and we got a brand new Terminator Captain, as you can see with this guy right here. He comes from the Leviathan box. It's a very smashing, an amazing model, very dynamic, and doesn't need a whole lot to spruce him up. If you want to go that way, like you can see with my miniature, I've added a bit of a chainsword bit to the Stormbolter to make it a little bit more brutal looking, and I've given him a top knot from Alaris Terminator's Custodes to highlight the aspect that he is a White Scars dude. And that's pretty much all the conversion I did. I actually wanted to do more on him, but I wasn't able to, and that is because what I was trying to do initially is, like I said, I've only done some basic stuff here. What I actually wanted to do was I wanted to give him chapter shoulder pads. So as you can see, he comes with some pre-sculpted stuff already, which is on the sprue for this guy. They're not bad, they're good shoulder pads, but I like to brand all my stuff as White Scars, right? And I wanted to give him the Gravis shoulder pads that came with the launch of the White Scars supplement for 8th edition 40K. Around, I would say that was summer of 2019 is when Space Marines got a second codex during 8th edition, and it was like a huge rework, and all the major codex chapters, they all got their own supplements, and to go along with that, they also got a brand new character sprue, and they also got an upgrade sprue. And the upgrade sprues, they were like what we had already gotten for like Blood Angels and Dark Angels, and I think Ultramarines at that point. Not sure, but yeah. So they came with the regular shoulder pads that you could use on your on your tactical squad guys, or you could use them on your intercessors. or other power armored units, and also with some Gravis shoulder pads or bigger shoulder pads that you could use on your Terminators or your aggressors or other models along that line. But what happened with this guy, and what I'm very sure is the same case with the Terminators as well, is that those big shoulder pads that are meant for aggressors, for like the Gravis armored Primaris, and for the first one Terminators, those actually do not fit this guy. They do not fit the new Terminators, and that's a huge problem, I think, because it highlights a problem that has existed with Primaris since their launch. When they launched, there were all these like absolutely squeaky clean units, and there was no distinction really between them, depending on what chapter you were. They all looked the same. There was no personality to them. Like with the Blood Angels Tactical Squad, it's a tactical squad of Firstborn Marines, but for Blood Angels, it has specific Blood Angels bits, such as the sculpted chests with they have like the musculature, or they have the Blood Angel symbols of different types, different iconography. They have all these cool shoulder pads. Excuse me. They have all these really cool specific shoulder pads and plethora of helmets, more iconography. The weapons are all marked with Blood Angel symbols in one way or another, and even the arms that came in the Tactical Squad kit of Blood Angels, it had like little ropes and chains on the arms, and it gave a distinct look to those Marines, right? And Primaries don't have that. They didn't have that at launch. They still don't have it because everything is meant to be the same. It's all a generic looking army. The only difference is the straight out of the box with GW stuff. Excuse me. The only difference being, well, which upgrade sprue did he use? And now we see that the upgrade sprues, they're also like a little bit useless when it comes to like these guys, because they don't fit. They're small. Like if you want them to fit on the new arms, you would actually have to do a lot of like cutting on the arm, like on this area specifically, or you just file it endlessly, or you just straight cut pieces to make that fit, and that adds so much extra work that didn't need to exist, you know, and that then filters down to how with well, the Terminator Captain is fine, but with like the Terminators themselves, if you look at them, the they're not built to be modular like all the old kits are, whether we're talking about the Blood Angel Tactical Squad or the old Chaos Space Marines or any other unit from that era, because they all have like these weird. I'll actually show you guys. So this is a sprue from the Mark 6 Tactical Squad. As you can see, it's got like the like right here, the legs and the chest, but one of the legs is half, and if you look at the back of the same piece, it's up there. Excuse me. So if you look at the back piece is not there, which is like for this one, it's right here. So to build this guy, you need three pieces for the body. You need half a leg, half the half the back piece, and this entire sculpted single piece right here, which is so utterly different from how Space Marine kit design used to be, model design. Because like if you look at this guy right here, this guy is a Legion veteran I built for my Mercy Blood Angels, and if you look closely, so it's actually a mishmash of different pieces. So the legs are Mark IV, the chest, the entire piece, front and the back, they're all from Blood Angels Tactical Squad kit. The arms are different as well, and the gun is from a different kit. The backpack is Mark 4 or Mark 3, and I give him some iconography, and the helmet on him, it's from the Blood Angel Cycle Squad kit. So that's the thing, right? When I say modular, I say how easy is it to convert, and the Terminator Squad kit, or the Chaos Space Marines Legionnaires kit, or the Mark 6 Tackle Squad kit, they're not easy to convert. Like, if you want the easy route, the best you can do is changing helmets, some different shoulder pads, and weapons. But you cannot do that with the Terminators because your older stuff doesn't fit them. That's not the case with the regular guys. So I don't know what's going on with kit designs like this, but it certainly doesn't give me a good feeling when I'm building stuff and when I want to do some kit bashes because I want to personalize these models in some way, and there's a huge barrier where I have to essentially do a lot of surgery on a model, and I end up wasting so much, which reduces the bits wealth that I have. You know, like if I just open my drawer right here, I have these three boxes. These are just full of bits. You know, different stuff, weapons, helmets, iconographies. You know, different types of shoulder pads, backpacks, all of that stuff. There's so much here. You know, back banners, decorations for the backpacks, and stuff like holsters here. Lots of pistol holsters, and sheath daggers and whatnot. You know, and of course stuff like here and there, stuff like the Forge World shoulder pad here. It all lends itself to a certain degree of customization, which is for me has always been a huge part of the hobby. Back when I started during late fourth and into like about the middle of fifth, just about the army that I was building, Space Marines. I started off doing an Ultramarine scheme, but once I had a handle on how the hobby, what the stuff I could do with it, what I decided to do was I used the Dark Angels upgrade box because they had a huge box full of like it was, I believe it was either two huge sprues, two or maybe three huge sprues of just upgrades. There might have been some legs as well in there, but I do remember there being a lot of like front decorations. So you could have chess pieces with tabards on them, a whole bunch of stuff like extra Raven Wing pennants and backpacks that were themed certain way, the helmets, hooded, and that kind of stuff, and Dark Angels stamped weapons further on, bolters and whatnot, like you can find in the Deathwing Terminator sprues these days. I'm not sure how the new ones look, but like in the old ones that were being sold until just a few days back, certainly, it's a wealth of bits. So that's something that GW has been moving away from for a lot of years now. Certainly since the start of 8th edition, they've been moving away from that. And I just don't get it. Like, I built 5 Chaos Space Marine Legionnaires last night. I bought the box last year, and I was building these guys. And if you look, you can see right here, as you can see. So we have the same thing as the Mark 6 Tactical Squad guy. This Chaos Space Marine Legionnaire, he has a full leg attached to a back piece. The leg is here, it's separate, and of course the chest piece is on a completely different sprue as well, which really doesn't make sense to me. Like, why do that? Because if I want to convert this thing, right, like say GW comes out with uh I don't know, an Iron Warriors upgrade sprue. So how is that gonna work? Like, am I just getting different front pads, or what are they gonna do? Because, and again, it's not the same thing like this part right here. It's not the same on all the others I built. Some of them had a divided back piece, which makes even less sense. So it's like one leg and like three quarters of the back piece, and then the other leg has the other quarter, which is like, it's just so freaking odd. Why are you doing that? And I see, not to be charitable to them, you know, I don't want to be charitable to them in this aspect, but with all the stuff that happened in the early 2010s with the chapter house lawsuit and everything, I feel that the executives and stuff they have in their minds that we don't want people to go outside the hobby to bring stuff in to play our stuff, and we are gonna change our designs so we prevent them from doing that, because it's not just a case of just the bodies but also the weapons. So if you look right here, so this is a guy holding a bolter from the Chaos Space Marine sprue, Legion sprue. And if you look, he has a sculpted left hand right there on the weapon. So what that is telling me is that they don't want me to mix and match this stuff with something else. Like the guys that I built, I'll show you. What I did last night was I built a couple of them as straight up from the box. So like this guy, he was built pretty much straight out of the box. I just gave him a Mark IV backpack, and just changed one of his shoulder pads. So, and I gave him a different helmet as well. Kind of because this is for my Red Corsairs army, so I want them to look like it's a mix of armor, and they've been scavenging a bit and whatnot. But if you look at this guy, one of the five, this guy, he has a Mark III helmet, and he has Mark III bolter as well with Mark III arms. Actually, no, wrong one. My bad. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. So this guy right here. So Mark III helmet, Mark III bolter, and Mark III arms. Because those, they come in three pieces. So there's the weapon, there's the trigger, trigger arm, going up all the way, and it's cut off here, so the hand is on the weapon itself, so it cuts up right here at the wrist, and then it's the actual hands with the weapon, and then the left hand here, it's like in this shape to hold it, and that's how the piece comes. But with these things, I cannot do that. I cannot mix and match the chaos bolters to like Mark III arms or Mark IV arms, because if I want to do that, then for the ones at least that are holding the bolters, I have to do a lot of surgery on it. I have to cut the arms and the wrists and try to make it fit that way. And then even then, it may not fit, and I have to file away pretty much the left hand, which is like, at that point you're like, I just don't want to do it. So it doesn't make sense to me why they've gone down this route, because it just prevents people from doing kit bashes. Kit bashing is one of the most fun things, one of the most fun aspects of the hobby for me. And all these recent sprue designs, like this is the sprue, this is a used sprue, pretty much from the Space Marine Intercessors kit that was launched at the start of 8th edition. And even this one, if you look, like right here, it has, so this one, so the right arm with the hand is holding the weapon, and then the left hand, there's a left hand right there, sculpted on top of the weapon. There have been so many times I've converted so many models, to give them a different pose or whatever, and I have had to, file away that left hand, because if I wanted the weapon to be like this, going up like this or forward like on this hand. I cannot do that unless I want my model to look absolutely freaking stupid. So I don't get why they've gone down this route. Really, like it doesn't make sense to me from the hobby aspect of it, because all they're doing really is, well, yes, they're showing off their amazing, better technology, I guess. But what they're doing is they're preventing people from doing kit bashes, and they're making it more of a chore than it needs to be. And they're pushing people to actually go even more outside the box and look towards uh, third party models with 3D prints and whatnot. And ultimately, big picture, I think it's a huge mistake. And there have been so many times, recently where I've had a not fun experience building my models. Like when I built a full squad of these guys, my Legion veteran, 10 guys. What I did was I went through all of my bits. I went through the sprues for these guys, Mark 3, Mark 4, I had a mix, and I mixed and matched every single thing. I was sourcing stuff from the Blood Angel Sacral Squad kit, from the Stern Guard kit, the old one, not the new one, Mark 3 kit, Mark 4 kit, Death Watch, Forge World, Forge World upgrade sets, and probably something else I'm forgetting. And I created a miniature that's fairly unique to me, to my version of the hobby. And my whole squad is like this. They all have combi meltas. They all have power swords. A couple of guys may have a power maul, or just which I either use as a power maul or a thunderhammer or whatever, maybe on sergeant. And I've personalized these models to how I want them to look. Even some of the arms that I'm using for the weapons, they are mixable. They can be Mark 3 or Mark 4, or from the Tactical Squad kit, or I actually took them straight out of one of the Space Marine, the Primaris Intercessors kit, and like this one right here, the arm that's pointing in a direction, I just cut off the hand, file it away, and just slap my weapon on there. That's what I've done, and that was a huge, amazing experience for me. And I laid everything out. I made sure I had every single thing I needed, and I just went and built stuff. Legs, slap the body on there, the torsos, front and back piece, attach the arms, attach the weapons, put the shoulder pads on, backpack. Anything else happens at the end. But with these guys, the Legionnaires, or with the Intercessors here, or these Mark 6 Tactical Squad kit, these guys, you have to actually look at the instructions. You cannot work without the instructions, because like you could maybe work without the instructions on the Intercessors, or maybe even with the Mark 6 Tactical Squad, but with the Chaos Space Marine Legionnaires, you can't do that, because first of all, the bits are spread across all three sprues to build one guy. Like legs are on one, torso's in another, backpack is on another, the weapon is somewhere, and you absolutely need to have your instruction booklet handy to build everything, so you can see where all the numbered bits go where, because you don't want to mess it up. You mess it up, you cut stuff off, and you put it down, then we're building, and then things don't fit, you're pretty much screwed, because you cannot figure out where stuff came from. And so that's why I enjoyed building my veterans last year, because all I needed was make sure I have all the bits, I lay them all out, and then that's it. That's all really I need to be doing. And it was like the part where I sourced everything, that was a huge deal for me. And actually, let me see if I have a picture of that. I do not. But that was an amazing experience for me. And I was like, this is good. I love this. But when you're prevented from doing something like that, I actually love the video, the photo by my phone. I have it somewhere. One second. Yeah, right there. Got it. So it just makes you wonder, what are they trying to do? And this is probably something that affects the way that I do my hobby. A ton of people aren't affected, and that's fine. That's their prerogative on that. So they can do as they want. But I think this is an aspect that needs to be talked about more because we are just giving GW too much leeway, you know. And of course, I have a very small voice in the community, but if I can make people aware of this stuff, then I would like to. Like right there, that's me making sure I have all the single bits I need for my Legion veterans. As you can see, everything is extremely modular. I can mix and match any of these bits as I want. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference to how the models are gonna look. They're all gonna look amazing, and you know, the world's your oyster basically. The shoulder pads I can mix and match as I want. Torsos and the legs I can mix and match as I want. The weapons I can mix and match as I want. The helmets I can mix and match as I want. The backpacks I can mix and match as I want. And it just, it like it's in certain ways it's hard to put into perspective exactly what is the really cool thing about it. But you look at that, and if I wanted to do a similar thing with the other new kits, I would have to put every single model in a pile of its own. Like here, you can see I have everything different. So all the legs are in one place, all the torsos, all the backpacks and the weapons and everything. It's in one place, you know, in its own section. But if I want to do it with all these new kits, can I do that? All the numbered pieces have to go together. Like in a lot of cases, even the arms and the weapons, they have to go in certain order with certain bodies entire. And that just like, it takes away the fun of how you want your model to look, how you want to pose it, how you want it to look visually. And, I think it's something that slowly we're losing from the hobby, and I don't think it's a good thing. Whatever GW is doing, whatever the reasons are, ultimately, the reason doesn't matter because they can do the exact same thing, these new kids, and it's good for everybody. And of course, everything that I'm talking about, it's not limited to just these guys. There's so many other kids that are the same way. And like I said, one of the most egregious aspects of this whole shebang is that, like with the new Terminators, the old shoulder pads do not fit these guys. And that just blows my mind. Like, yeah, I'm fine with them upscaling the miniatures, but they did not have to do this. Like, when 8th edition launched with the Firstborn and with the Primaris, you could use Firstborn shoulder pads on the Primaris. Like the Tactical Squad shoulder pads, the Power Armor shoulder pads, they could go on the Intercessors, Hull Blasters, and the like. The Terminator shoulder pads, they could go on the Aggressors, and so on and so forth. But now, with the new Terminators, that's not the case. And they haven't released new upgrade sets which can do that, because of course it'd be a huge undertaking because they would have to make a new upgrade sprue just to add 3 shoulder pads. really for these guys. So it's like, GW, what are you doing? You know, I am fine with the upscaling, like I said, but don't upscale in a way that prevents people from using stuff that you are already selling. You know, that's, I think, the main takeaway from everything. And I want to do like, so I got the Chaos Legionnaires box. I did 5 of them as standard Legionnaires, and the other 5 I want to do as Chosen, which are the more elite guys. But first of all, I don't have enough options on the Legionnaires kit itself. If I had the Kill Team Legionnaires box, it would be a little different because it comes with a separate upgrade sprue that has extra weapons and stuff. So that's fine, I can understand that. But then, you know, the special weapons on this, like with the Flamer here, or, the Melta Gun right here, it has the sculpted left hands. And that's just like, it's such a good bit, and I don't want to waste that. Like, yeah, sure, I cannot use the melta guns and the plasma guns and the like on my chosen, but down the line, I have to keep the entire sprue, and I have to keep the instructions handy. So, in the future when I want to build something like that, I don't lose my place. It just like it doesn't like piss me off. It just like, makes me a little bit disappointed and makes me a little bit sad to see that, we're slowly losing all this customization that we used to do in favor of all these new kits that can only be built a certain way, unless you're like, yeah, I want to go really deep in it and I want to do a lot of cutting. I want to mangle all these bodies and stuff and whatnot, and spend a lot of time filing and all that. Just like, just keep things clean, keep them simple. And but GW like doesn't really believe in that. And another thing is like, with the Mark 6 tactical squad kits, one of the really like annoying parts is that the models, they come with these studded shoulder pads like right here at the top, but they're in 2 pieces. Now apparently that's because of the technology that they're using, which gives a better result on the final product. But then I just wonder, like, we have studded shoulder pads on Primaris. They're 1 piece, like right here. That's a 1 piece studded shoulder pad. We've had studded shoulder pads on Firstborn for ages. So whatever they're doing, you know, like, I don't get that part of it, and I find it a little annoying. The only thing is like, at least the pieces go together really well, because I've heard so many people, they use some kind of like liquid plastic putty or whatever to smooth things out, smooth the joints and whatnot. But I built like 10 guys like about 2 weeks ago. They came out fine. But either way, so that's that. And so that's the video. That's it was a bit of a rant, but hopefully, it's an issue that you may as well find relevant to yourself on how you want to approach the hobby and how you look into, because the hobby can be so many different things. It's building the models, it's painting the models, it's converting the models, it's playing with the models, it's the lore, it's so many different things. And the lore, you either like you read all the campaign books, you read the background books, or you read all the Black Library fiction, you consume the audio dramas and whatnot. There's so much stuff out there. There's so many different aspects to the wargaming hobbies with regards to Warhammer, and I don't want to see that aspect go. But that's it for me today for you guys, and we'll be back soon with another video, which will also be a bit of a rant, but we'll see. Cheers.